So I hope you all can hear me better. So now see here actually, this much more explanation is given in this PowerPoint, which I have given you in the form of words. Everything is actually written in the.
Please accept the other one.
Yeah, sure. Accepted.
Okay.
I'm just checking. Okay. See here. See, when we are going to this, now this picture helps us to understand the triangular and quadrangular spaces what we come across when we do the dissection from behind. Okay, so this is upper triangular space. Okay, this is upper quadrangular space and this is lower triangular space. Okay, then so if you just this picture helps us to talk about the relations of artery also. So when you talk about this upper quadrangular space, what are the boundaries of this upper quadrangular space? Superiorly it is bounded by teres minor, inferiorly it is bounded by teres major. This is midline, medial border of the scapula, because I told you wherever we have glenoid cavity, that area is lateral. Wherever we have arm, that area is lateral. Okay, so medial border of the scapula is this. So obviously, see for this quadrangular space, the medial border is this one. So this is the long head of triceps, and laterally we have surgical neck of the humerus. Okay, so like this we have this quadrangular area. Okay, so in this quadrangular area, so what are the structures causing? You are finding posterior circumflex humeral artery. Just now we have seen third part of the axillary artery has three branches, right? What are those? Subscapular, anterior circumflex humeral, posterior circumflex humeral. So this is posterior circumflex humeral artery. Along with that, we have axillary nerve. That's the reason when surgical neck of the humerus is fractured, these two structures will get damaged. One is axillary nerve, and you can see from this picture, in fact, axillary nerve is supplying deltoid muscle and also teres minor muscle. Isn't it? One twig is going to teres minor, the other twig is piercing the deltoid. This muscle is deltoid. That is all about upper quadrangular space. Then coming to the boundaries of upper triangular space, so you will see the superiorly it is bounded by which muscle? Teres minor. Inferiorly it is bound by which muscle? Teres major. Okay, and medially it is bounded by the lateral border of scapula bone. Okay, laterally you will have long head of triceps. So what is the content we have? Circumflex scapular artery. The one which is winding and going behind like this, we call it as circumflex scapular artery. Okay. Now coming to this lower triangular space. Come by practice this diagram, automatically you will write everything looking at this picture. So again, superiorly, when you talk about this triangle, it is bounded by teres major, laterally shaft of the humerus, medially long head of triceps. The content is radial nerve and profunda brachiae artery. Profunda brachiae artery we will study when we are doing the branches of brachial artery. We know brachial artery is the continuation of axillary artery. Okay. Now, because it's very much closely related to axillary artery branches, and this triangular and quadrangular spaces itself can be either 3 marks or 5 marks question. So practice this picture thoroughly, and whenever we are talking about any of these structures, when we talk about axillary nerve, again quadrangular space will come into picture, because when we talk about course, again you should talk about the boundaries. When we talk about radial nerve, again this lower triangular space comes into picture. So that's how it is related. Okay. This picture is also, now you remember like we had suprascapular node, suprascapular ligament, suprascapular vessels and nerves, which you can see here actually, suprascapular artery and nerve. These are suprascapular arteries coming as a branch of subclavian. Okay, this is circumflex. Okay, just a minute. Between teres major and minor, we have circumflex scapular artery beta. This is upper triangular space. We have posterior circumflex humeral and axillary nerve. This is lower triangular space where you are finding radial nerve and profunda brachial. Okay. Now let us see the anastomosis. Now, what is this process but the acromion process? So, in the acromion process, you are finding there is an anastomosis, isn't it? Let us see what are the branches taken. Okay, scapular anastomosis. See, these are the blood vessels around the scapula bone. So, collateral anastomosis is formed between the first part of the subclavian artery. Okay, so this will be our subclavian artery and third part of axillary artery. The branches of first part of the subclavian artery and the branches of third part of axillary artery will form anastomosis around the scapula. Okay, so what are those? To be more specific, the names are, we have transverse cervical artery. One is transverse cervical. Okay, then we have, this is the suprascapular artery. Just now we have seen in the other picture also, suprascapular knots, suprascapular vessels and nerves. Okay, so this is transverse scapular, this is suprascapular, and we know like winding around this scapula, we have this circumflex scapular, isn't it? So circumflex scapular is a branch coming from the third part of axillary artery, which in turn is a branch of subscapular artery. Okay, so this is anastomosis around the scapula. Okay, transverse cervical, suprascapular, and branches from circumflex scapular artery. Please remember this because scapular anastomosis can be either 5 marks question or it can be 2 marks question. Okay, let me see. Both suprascapular and transverse cervical are the branches of subclavian only. Transverse cervical, to be more specific, is a branch of thyrocervical trunk. Like this it comes. Okay, suprascapular is a branch of subclavian artery. Like that. Okay. The same thing is written here. Now, anastomosis around acromion process can be also a 3 marks question. So how is this anastomosis formed? See, this is the acromion process. So around the acromion process, we have acromial branch of suprascapular artery. We know suprascapular artery is a branch of subclavian, isn't it? Then thoracoacromial and posterior circumflex humeral. Okay, so these are the branches. Okay, but please remember this is anastomosis around the acromial process. Acromial branch of suprascapular, thoracoacromial and posterior circumflex humeral. Okay, so we have anastomosis around acromial process, we have anastomosis around scapula. Okay, so this axillary vein and all I will elaborate when we are doing venous drainage of upper limb. Okay, axillary group of lymph nodes we will take as a separate class. So coming to the applied anatomy of axillary artery, the ballooning out of the vessel wall is actually called as aneurysm. So sometimes there may be ballooning out. That means the vessel wall. That means tunica intima, media, and adventitia, which forms the wall of the blood vessel, becomes weak and it becomes balloon-like, which is leading to aneurysm. Okay, whenever there is ballooning out, it will compress. Just now we have seen axillary artery all around it is surrounded by either trunks of brachial plexus or branches of brachial plexus. So whenever there is aneurysm, these trunks or the branches of brachial plexus, they get compressed, which may lead to pain and anesthesia. Okay. So these are all related to axillary group of lymph nodes. I'll take in tomorrow's class. Okay. Hope you understood. Stop here.
Yes, ma'am. Thank
See
you.
you all tomorrow.
Bye. Yeah.
Bye.